The man who taught me how to use a snowblower, change oil on a snowblower, do maintenance on a snowblower. Yes, my dad, the Garagegezer, is here in the garage. We're talking snowblowers and what to look for. Hey guys and gals, welcome to Garage Gear. I'm JB and I have the Garagegezer here. Are you excited to talk snowblowers? Yes or yes?
Absolutely, snowblowers, my friend.
All right, let's go.
Especially in Buffalo.
So Garagegezer, you have not seen this thing yet.
Nope. I have not seen it.
You've seen it in pieces on tables in here.
Yep.
I think the last time you saw it, the engine was like 80% done.
Barely remember it actually in its old form.
And you haven't been here in a while.
No, and we have a place in Maine, so we visit there all the time. And,
yeah.
And you were working at it during the summer, and I haven't seen it.
You were just seeing it through the videos.
Yeah, you can say this or I'm doing this. So this is going to be a joy for me.
Guys and gals, he hasn't seen this thing. Here we go. Take a look. Go.
Man.
Look at that.
This is not going to be able to see snow. It's just too nice. This is unbelievable. I remember the other tires and solid metal. The augers are just amazing. Those are the old style ones I remember.
They don't make them like that anymore.
They forgot how to make them like this.
I think so.
This is wonderful.
I love how the augers take up the entire space of the bucket. And help this video take up some space with the YouTube algorithm. Would you mind hitting that like button? Thank you.
It fills the entire thing. You are chewing up snow.
Yeah.
That's all you're doing is just, it's meant to do one thing, chew snow.
Yep.
You just can't find stuff like this anymore.
Okay, so what are your initial impressions on this thing? As soon as you see
This is the thing that actually takes me back. My mom and dad had, around the same time, a 20-inch, 3.5 horsepower Ariens. Paid a fortune for it way back when, for them, at that time. But it had all the same things. All of the augers the same way, same style. To engage the augers, same thing.
Similar controls.
Same controls, same speeds, all that kind of stuff, just smaller. But it went through the blizzard of 77. If you can make it through the blizzard of 77 and you come out the other end and it went in.
With a 20-inch snowblower?
With a 20-inch snowblower, 3.5 horsepower, and it did. Yeah.
Must have been eating for hours, but it did.
It did. It was a beast. The same thing this thing is. But I don't think, honestly, are you going to actually put this through snow? Because it looks so beautiful.
I will. It's gonna see some snow, but I got a bunch of others that are kind of ahead of it that gotta get some footage first. So yeah, this one will get some stuff, and it'll probably see snow at the end of the season, only because I just gotta film so many other things first.
Here's what I like about it. First off, it fits me. I'm a shorter guy. Fits me pretty good. I like the ability to turn. That's another one. I like the cleats on the tires. Those are all things. I'm glad you put an hour gauge on it. I like the idea that you even did some things with oil.
The drain tube.
Drain tube with oil. Yeah. I mean, to me, this is everything you need in a snowblower for Buffalo, New York, or any place else. You can get it in Pennsylvania that gets some snow too. This is a perfect unit for it. And if you could find something like this that age, that would be great. I like the skids that you've put down on the bottom.
The armor skids.
The armor skids.
Yep.
Because I've got it on mine, and it goes over the concrete. If there's a little bit of difference in concrete, it just glides right over it.
Those protect the front of the paint job here.
That's what I like. And the other ones, even the newer ones, even today, come with very short ones, and you're bumping that. You're hitting that thing all around.
Now, one of the things you taught me long ago when we were shopping for snowblowers for like the first time is you said you want it to be front heavy. And I totally agree. Like, you want more of the weight coming down on the front. Yeah. And yes, that's how most snowblowers are, but I'm pretty sure like the MTD snowblowers, a lot of their weight seems kind of central because the front of the bucket on those is lighter. This one's very heavy.
There's a balance that's got to be created between what you have on the tires, so the weight on the tires, versus the cutting ability of the augers to stay down and keep cutting. Years ago, they got into this, hey, let's put on a bigger engine, and it just wasn't balanced right. So all you had was the thing like tipping like this, and you were just riding up. Yep. I mean, I've had a few of those. The Troy-Bilt did that. I think even the Brute did that. I think the Noma was one of those balanced ones. So I had a few over the years. I like the overall balance. Other things that I like is the ability to have the biggest...
The impeller to auger ratio.
The impeller to auger ratio. That is the bigger, the better. You're asking a lot of snow to come into the augers, bury itself into the impeller area. Yep. And I know you have the impeller kit on that. That would be, I recommend that to anybody doing anything. But if that thing is so small, and a lot of snowblowers went to save costs over the years, they went from here it is 28 inches to here it is, it's got to fit it into there to then
10 inch or 12 inch hole,
and then shoot it out and inspect those augers to shoot it out, and then they made this out of plastic. And I mean, just think conceptually that something's going to fail there, and you're not going to get through a driveway that fast.
Right.
So balance is good, girth is better, the impeller kit is great, and then certainly you got to shoot to
go with it
as far as you want to do it. So good balance. That's what you're looking for.
And that's one of those things we talk a lot about when you're shopping for a snowblower, is having that auger housing to impeller ratio, because you want that wider impeller housing to really grind up the snow and get it out of there. If you got more room, it can process it faster.
I get troubled with one area, and people, as they're looking at snowblowers, and this is vintage snowblower, this is how they started the thing. And you said it before.
It's prehistoric.
It's prehistoric. It's almost as old. I think I was 17 years old. 67 now. So when you look at this, you say, how much those augers are working for you based on this housing?
So something like this does far more work than something that has smaller augers and a huge auger housing. This one's just using its whole space to its maximum.
This is why Ariens wrote the book on this kind of thing. And I'll tell you, the older snowblowers, whether it was the Brute or the Noma or whatever, those had big augers.
Yeah.
And somehow they tried to get away with that and put the little guys in there. And I think, to me, never worked.
I think it just came down to cost. I mean, when you take this much metal at this size, it's a lot. When you think about it, if a company's got to cut money somehow in the budget, well, they're going to just make the augers a little smaller, put them in there. You can still say you have a 30-inch bucket, but you got 12-inch augers. It's just going to save them money, but it's going to take the user longer to do.
You got to find the right value. People like the name of it, or they like this, or they like the color of it. No, you look at functionality, and you look at just all the things we just talked about. And if you're in in the southern tier of Western Europe, they got a lot of snow. It just keeps coming. Feet of snow sometimes. You can't scrimp on, okay, I got these little augers and I got a big housing. The ratio is so small that you're just going to...
You're going to be there all day.
You're going to be there all day, and you're not going to get to work.
And another thing that you taught me long ago was you want a big mouth coming out of the impeller housing. The wider the better, because it can just get the snow out.
My godfather, now past many years, but he said that's what you want. Big mouth coming in with the augers, you don't condense it too much. You want to have the ability to just simply push it right out.
Right.
And you see these little guys that are literally 4 or 5, maybe 4 inches. And
this one is 6.
That's huge. You get 4 inch. They would put a 24-inch.
Game of inches.
So it's game of inches. So you do that and you say, well, how am I going to get all that snow I'm pushing? You're pushing a foot of snow, and you're going to get it out of there with 4 inches.
With a 3-inch hole or a 4-inch hole.
Just think about rationalize that, and it's just not going to happen. That's exactly when it starts bunching up, and you're not getting it out of there, and you're going to be living on WD-40 spraying it up.
Oh yeah, for sure. So nice auger sizing, nice auger housing, big impeller housing, big mouth, taller chute. You have every advantage working in your favor.
Yeah, I mean, you're and a good quality unit like this is a perfect testament to time. I mean, look at this thing. And I know you bought it in a very different time. What, 2 years ago now? Is it 2 years?
22, yeah.
Yeah.
So 3 years. Coming on 3 years now.
And it was not that bad a shape.
No.
I mean, you made it look beautiful now, but I mean, this thing didn't have a lot of rust. It looked pretty good to begin with, and it was functional.
It could still work.
You had a video. I remember seeing it. You using it in the yard, and it tossed snow.
Yeah.
Like the old days. I mean, it's like it did when it was first made.
Right.
So you have something that's damn near 50 years old. How can you go wrong?
Right.
And think about your cost then of if it was $600 or something like that, whenever it was brand new.
Yeah.
You're 50 years old.
Yeah.
What did you pay for that?
Right.
So it's a great value, and that's what you want to have in a
And this is something that just lasts and lasts and lasts.
And
it's like a lobster; it doesn't die.
This thing is meant to do one thing.
eat snow.
And you eat snow, you go in the house, warm up. It didn't wear out after 50 years.
Look at how thick the rods here are on the back.
This is exactly what I saw in the 3.5 horsepower 20-inch one.
Yeah.
They put this exact same stuff. This is all.
There's no cables.
There's no. This, and I do like it. Honestly, I know it's a safety issue, but once you started the thing and just kept on going, and yes, you can't have young kids around or anything like that.
Right. That's another thing I wanted to talk about. The thing that actually scares me the most about this snowblower, it genuinely scares me, is that this thing is always running. Mm-hmm. So the minute you lock this auger into place, these things are spinning and they do not stop, which is great when you got to get to the pile at the end of the driveway. But if I let go of that handle, this snowblower will continue to walk itself through the snowbank, across the street, through the neighbor's fence, into his pool. Like, it will just keep going. So it doesn't stop. And when I have earplugs in, I can still hear this thing making some noise. But if I have to maybe break down the snowbank with a shovel or something, if it's too high at the end of the street, I'll be over there and I'll catch myself 6 inches away from this thing and I'm like, oh geez, so I have to make a pretty concerned effort to shut this off.
You have to be thinking it's that you can't do this mindless. This is an old time machine. You can't be mindless on it.
Yeah, it's not like the new ones where you just let go of the levers and it stops. No, this one will keep going. This is very early technology. There were no safety standards back then.
This is where the real danger is of something like this. And that's why it makes sense that you add some safety things with it. And that getting rid of that, although it was tried and true of being able to engage or disengage the augers, is safety first.
I actually got a clip of this. I'm down the sidewalk. I turn around and I had to come back. And I just said, you know what? I let it go. And it went straight as an arrow down the sidewalk. It did the whole sidewalk. And there were some neighbors walking down on the other side of the street and they're laughing their butts off. Because I'm just kind of on my phone, just walking behind the thing, filming it.
Yeah.
And
that was one of the things you could actually you can kind of go and kind of almost step away from it a little bit.
Yeah.
This thing is just motoring along, where the new ones you got to really, literally two hands.
And surprisingly, like, this is a machine that didn't really beat you up too much because it's doing so much work. It's driving itself.
Yeah.
It's so big, it's sucking in all this snow, shooting it out, but it's not beating you up all that much. I mean, yeah, you had to steer it from time to time and turn it around or whatever. Or if you lock the differential on the bottom, yes, the wheels are going to be harder to steer, but this thing pretty much drove itself.
Yeah.
Doesn't it handle like a dream?
You could probably push down with like that and just
keep
going. So there's not much.
But then it's got so much weight on the front, it just...
It wants to go that way. Looks beautiful, Jared. I'm impressed.
Thanks.
I'm so impressed on this.
What grinds your gears with this? And I think we kind of already hit on that. You mentioned, like, it's dangerous.
Safety is the other piece, probably the big piece of this. I remember Godfather, because they lived right across the street from us, and he had a big 32-inch one that was, he made it out of 2 ariens.
Because you could do that.
You could do that because they break apart, they split apart. That's how you got to create or recreate this thing. And one of the things he drilled it into me that he would not let me use it for a while until I got older and older and older because of the augers. Do you want that responsibility kind of thing? So he was really
he was cautious.
Yeah, he wanted to make sure that I was capable of doing it.
Yeah.
As I got older, and then he said, okay, fine. There's not much I find wrong with these. The only other thing is this guy, I'm used to now with my errands, I'm up.
You have control.
I'm up on here, and that's why they did it, so you don't have to reach. Now it's on the console over here.
It's old school technology. All right, so if somebody is on a budget, maybe they bought a new house and they only have a couple $100s to spend, would you recommend if they find a good one like this to nab it?
The only way I would do it is first off, from a performance standpoint, it's going to give you everything you want.
Yeah.
If you got young kids, if you've got dogs, if it's just you and the wife or whatever, sure. It's fine.
And maybe you're mechanically inclined a little bit.
And you got to be mechanically inclined because with the age of this thing, that you're going to have to you brought it all the way back.
Yeah.
Some people are going to have to bring, they're going to have to,
fix a belt.
There's something wrong. That's something you've got to replace the belts or something like that.
Put a new carburetor on it.
Or you need a good carburetor cleaning. So if you have that kind of thing going on, yeah, sure. Then this is a nice model. You can get through it until you get some more money, and then upgrade.
So we're going to wrap this one up now, but we got some other snowblowers to get to. Let's get at it.
Can't wait.
All right, guys and gals, we are now on to the Aon Deluxe 24. Garagegezer, what are your thoughts?
I love this machine. I absolutely love this.
It's
machine.
nice. It's nice.
I like the 24-inch versus the 28. This is one of those, if you have a true two-car garage, not a 2 1/4 or something like that, this guy, you can put it along the edge and it fits. Size-wise, perfect. And it's not obnoxiously long. The previous one was like a little bit longer, I think. The handles are pretty good. I like the setup. Everything's right here. You can adjust, you can shut your chute fairly easy. It's very simple. It's got great balance. It wants to cut.
And I've said it now in a couple videos, in a video that I recently did a full review on this, and I'll have that video linked down below in the description. I mentioned that this is the best bang for the buck snowblower that's out there right now, because you're getting a nice, powerful engine. Size-wise, it's there. You're getting good size augers, a great gearbox, solid metal construction on this whole thing, nice tall tires. This is, for the price, a sweet deal.
I absolutely agree. I like the idea. I think I have, what, 254 on 254cc on motor on mine. In my opinion, it almost seems like more power for a smaller auger base. So I think that's pretty good.
And one thing a lot of people don't realize this about the Aon Deluxe models is they have a dual belt design. So you start ramming into heavy snowbanks, you have less belt slippage. And when you go into some bigger models by other brands, they still only have one. So this is a really advanced thing.
Value. That's what you get here. I mean, most of this thing is metal. Can this last 50 years like the previous one?
The 10,000 series?
Yeah, the 10,000 series. I think you can probably get it.
You think so?
I think you could get it. You still see these.
You got to take care of them.
Well, that's part of it. Spray it up.
Rust-proof it.
But if they're really rust-proofing it, and you don't go banging it into stuff, and you try to take care of stuff, you change the oil, keep it clean. Snow is done at the end of the season. Wash it down, clean it up, dry it up.
Cover it up, tuck it away.
Cover it up, tuck it away.
Drain the gas out.
And you taught me that. I wasn't doing that. So
once you were done, you were done.
I did. I uncovered mine this year, and I go, man, Jared was right.
It works.
I love this machine. The size, the wheels.
You know what? I got a lot of videos to do on this thing too. And I've got heated hand grips on the way. So I'm going to do a video on that.
Well, you did that for me too. Yeah, well, $60 or whatever it was to put them on there. And I go, I should have done this a long time ago.
Right. It makes you think like, well, how did I get along all this time without them?
Well, that was a dumb thing. What I would do is keep an extra set of gloves just right inside the door, and I put it, as I'm coming up the driveway, after I've been out there a bit of time, I throw the other gloves on, and then come back out again, and then I'm out of gloves. So if I got to do somebody else's driveway, I'm frozen, and I'm calling it a day. So this is really nice.
Somebody mentioned they're like, you should just get heated gloves, and that is a smart idea. But at least this way, you're always still grabbing onto something that's hot. But they didn't have that stuff back then.
No.
That wasn't even a thing.
No.
Not even 20 years ago, it really wasn't a thing.
From everything you want to have, I want a metal chute. Don't buy anything with a plastic chute. That just is a waste.
Yeah.
We've gone through that. We've gone through that, and thought we were making the right decision.
And it had issues.
Every year I was repairing the thing.
And the cables going to it were cracking.
The cables, and you're doing it at the wrong periods of time because you're frozen.
You can get something that's quality from the start. You're not going to have those problems down the road. It saves you the headaches. So we have a 24-inch auger housing and then a 14-inch impeller housing.
Yep.
So we have a really sweet auger to impeller ratio.
You're churning, and you're pushing it into a good housing. And what's the measurement on this?
Inside the hole?
Inside the hole.
Let's measure that.
That's always a good.
So this one is square, and then it has a round edge to it. So at its widest point, 5 inches, which is still great.
Right.
When you look at some other snowblowers, it's a little smaller. This having this nice wide mouth.
And you have the impeller kits on this one?
This one is going to get an impeller kit.
Once that's on there, it's a game changer. Because when it's going to get stuck, it's going to get stuck in there, and then it just bogs down because it's trying to get out of the chute, and it's not being pushed with enough force to get out of the chute.
Nothing sticking around the outside, round the outside, round the outside.
It just feels strong.
It's solid.
Built well. You can't ask for anything more.
This engine's brand new for 2024 now into 2025. Toro uses a similar engine.
Okay.
They almost look identical. And it's 252 cc's. Plenty of power for this thing. I haven't seen any issues with those on the Toros. For this to be on here, I think it's a great thing.
And easy controls.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Pump it, the key for
It's all right
starting it.
there.
Here's the choke, no choke. So it's very straightforward. Nice light. That Ariens does this. They know what to do with this product line that they've got from the deluxe line, even their less expensive line, all the way up to their most expensive one. They know what to do.
They're just built well.
Yeah. To me, they got the market. Don't buy anything else.
Now, what grinds your gears with this snowblower?
First off, going out and snowblowing. Yeah. Overall, here's what I've done at different times. I've actually done this.
Okay.
I've done this on the one I have, which is the 28-inch.
All right,
So
now, real quick, I'm just going to zoom in on that. So show us what's happening.
well, let's say, so if I want to go here, I'll do that. All of a sudden, what I've done is change my chute.
You've hit the...
This is for the changing of the deflection of the chute.
Yeah.
And so I keep on moving this. I don't necessarily do this that much, but this clearly is the one that
It gets bumped.
I get bumped all the time.
Maybe if they made this lower...
It doesn't have to be as high.
Yeah.
Clearly, because then I'd be way lower. So if it was way down here, I'd be way lower on that.
Yeah, and it's almost kind of like you're reaching way over.
Yeah.
You have to kind of awkwardly reach to hit it.
It's just a subtle thing, but it doesn't need to be this high.
It could be lower.
It could be way low. You could remove an inch or an inch and a half.
It's
off
almost
of
like it could be like something that sits almost flat to the dash and you just go boom, boom, boom.
It's almost like a ball,
Yeah.
a palm thing.
Yeah.
Like a mouse is on a computer. But
Anything else that grinds your gears on this thing?
I'd rather have the longer
Skids on the bottom.
skids on the bottom. Thank you.
And I may put those armor skids on this one.
Yeah, and that part I would like to ding this thing pretty quick. Other than the skids and other than this thing,
The little controls up there.
I can't find a lot of wrong with this. I noticed that on the newer ones, they've taken the cover off of the electric start.
Yeah, I don't know why they did that.
I don't know. I know on the older ones, they have it, and mine has it. But I will tell you, at times I forgot to I would pull the electrical thing off during the electric start, but I'd forget to put it back on. I think why they took it off is because snow would get on there, or get in there, when guys like me would forget to put it on, then they close it, it's stuck in. Then I lost the ground pin. The ground pin fell off.
Yeah.
So because it was just rusting and all that. So I think that's why it is, so the water would drain out.
And one other thing that grinds my gears with this is, I mean, I'm old school with this. This should be yellow. This should be yellow only because you get somebody that doesn't maybe know exactly what they're doing, don't know they're learning.
Yeah.
And then boom, now it's not okay when they fill that with gas. Make it yellow. Call it a day. So, I mean, you can pivot this thing around without any problem.
Again, I'm not putting much force into it. It will move with you and work with you.
And when it's on and running, these tires, they just march through everything.
Yeah, you won't need chains. We've had several models over the years where there's smaller tires and we're little.
And you gotta put chains on. A lot of people say you need chains. These ones get plenty of traction. You really don't need chains. I mean, unless you're getting tons of feet and feet of snow, and maybe.
You don't need chains on this thing.
Yeah, this thing's got plenty to run with just on those extra tires alone. You good with this one?
I'm good with this one.
Okay, so let's move on to the next one.
Okay.
All right, so Garagegezer, here we are. Now we got the Ariens Professional 32. What are your initial thoughts on this guy?
Incredibly big.
Oh yeah,
This is
just big time.
This is, if you're a big boy, you can handle this thing. It moves great. It's got. This doesn't feel like it's how much does it weigh?
314 pounds.
314 pounds.
It doesn't feel like it.
No, it's like on a dolly or something. That's how,
Yeah.
how it feels. It's well balanced. It wants to scrape snow. It wants to push it into the auger. Love the tires. They're the same size, same height, but it's got girth to the tires. Well thought through, well balanced. A machine that's going to last. Lots of metal no matter where it is.
Reinforcements everywhere.
You got reinforcements. It's the same chute, I think, as the other one. This works fairly well. I don't have an issue. It flows. It almost whips the thing back and forth.
It's a faster.
It's meant to get through stuff fast.
Yeah.
That's for sure. They moved this to the right side, so I'm not where the other 24-inch model. I was hitting it with my forearm,
Trying to reach over to
there's
turn
no
the
way
crank.
I'm hitting it. So these are like independent. The speed one on the 24 Deluxe was this way. This one's moving it forward that way. I love the tubular system.
Yeah, the tubular seal.
This looks like you're on a trailer, for crying out loud. Because like my trailer in Maine has got this kind of
Heavy duty
system.
steel.
And it's not going anywhere as opposed to a single like a 90-degree angle of some of those trailers.
Yeah.
It's built. It's,
it's heavy duty.
Crashes into it, nothing's going to happen. This is all great stuff. LED light, I like that. I think you got an LED light on the other one.
On the Deluxe, yeah.
On that, the size of this, and I look at, when I was on the other side, I'm looking at those augers. The augers fit. They're bigger than the Deluxe.
Yep, these are 16-inch augers. The Deluxe is 14.
Right. Overall, I'm looking at the huge
impeller housing.
Impeller housing, just monstrous. And I mean, it's not going to get stuffed with anything.
And it's got the SHO, the super high output impeller, so it spins faster, cranks out more snow.
And you put the impeller kit.
And you put the impeller kit on there. This thing's unstoppable.
This is built for success. It really is. If you look at the side of it, and I'll go around this on this area. It's got extra steel reinforcements right up in here. The Deluxe does not have it, but you're talking about a housing that is 8 inches bigger and taller as well, so it needs to support all that.
When you hit the snowbank at the end of the driveway, let's say it's just wickedly high, this thing goes through it and it doesn't shake, it doesn't bounce around, whereas maybe the Deluxe or some other models with the 1-inch tubular handlebars, those kind of torque and twist a little bit. This one, it's just straight.
Yep.
It just goes.
Overall, solid, built to last.
So now, Garagegezer, tell us what grinds your gears with this.
Well, only because if you've used enough of them. I've had a Troy build, a Brute, Ariens. I've used different things over the years. You don't want plastic. If your chute is plastic,
or minimize the plastic as much
just
as you
get
can.
rid of anything plastic.
Yeah.
You're talking about sub-0 degrees sometimes, and you're out there trying to plow something, and you got plastic.
Yeah.
You're asking for trouble. You're asking for a repair at the wrong particular time.
Right.
When I look at the labeling of things like, okay, you got the turtle going to the rabbit, but you also have things like run and choke. Right now, this is all the way on choke. And if you look straight down, choke's going this way. Dial itself is going straight out this way.
It's going different. It's going here where it should be here.
Is that minor? Yes, it's minor. Can you get used to it? Yeah, you can. Overall, though, that would be one area that would be a troublesome area. Other than that, I really can't find much wrong with it. Some of the cabling here has got the layering.
Could be tucked a little tighter, maybe.
Could be tucked in and maybe even waterproofed. Some kind of cover, maybe an enclosure just to keep it away from it. But overall, this thing flies.
Yeah.
And I can't tell you that it's ever going to be an issue.
Sometimes it gets a little hung up for me. Like I'll be kind of like, it'll kind of just get caught somewhere in the middle. And then, so right now I'm trying to push it that way. It'll go.
It almost overcorrects. You're talking about the minorest of minor things. I look at this and I go, this is so well built in every regard. I think it just probably cuts snow like there's no tomorrow.
Oh yeah, it eats right through everything.
Bring your camera over. Look at this. You've got a full complement of augers dealing with the entire compartment.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, other than maybe the top 4 inches or something like that, but that's about it.
It's minor. It's deflecting it downward.
When you talk big augers, a solid gearbox, an auger housing that matches the size of the augers, a big impeller housing in the back, a big mouth on top, a tall chute with an impeller kit, SHO, when you start adding all these things, powerful motor, you start adding all this stuff up, it's a hell of a machine.
People buy full tractors to cut their lawn, and they're spending $2,000, $2,400 at Home Depot.
Yeah.
And when you think about it, it does one thing. It cuts your grass.
Right.
It doesn't do anything else. There's no loader and anything on it. This thing does one thing. It's expensive, but you know what? It's going to last you. You got a long driveway, or you got a lot of sidewalk.
Rip right through it.
You're going to rip right through it.
And think about it, if you're a commercial guy and maybe you have one of these in the back of a truck or a trailer and you go and do a bunch of houses, I mean, you could pay for one of these in a season, and it'll pay for itself because it's going to speed up your productivity. So, on to the next one?
On to the next one.
All right. Okay.
Jared, what do we have here?
We have a Cadet 3X. Now, let me give you the background story before we go and say what we need to say about this thing. So, first off, I picked this up in August. Guy was moving. He needed to get rid of it. I got it for $480. Right now, brand new, this machine goes for about $2,300. So this is a very expensive machine. I think I got it for a sweet deal. I just did the carburetor cleaning on this thing. It runs great. The belts are good. The transmission's good. Everything's good on this. And when we look at it, there's probably about 5% less rust on this entire thing. So it's relatively in good shape for being about 7, 8 years old. I bought this for a reason because this one, I should say owners of this snowblower seem to be the loudest. Out of all the snowblowers that we talk about on this channel, I hear so much about this thing. Some owners love it, some owners hate it. And for every owner that loves this thing, there's an owner that hates this thing. And there's many reasons why. And I have a list of them. I've been actually keeping a list because I talked to so many subscribers. They're all telling me all this information about this. So I wanted to get one of these. I wanted to try it out and see for myself and kind of do some comparisons between the 24 Deluxe to this one and the 32. You know, can an Ariens Deluxe be better than this? Is this one better than an Ariens Deluxe? Is this one better than an Ariens Pro? We got to answer these questions. So I think these would be all good things to talk about.
Okay.
First off, you've now had a quick walk around this thing. You've looked at a lot of it. What are your initial thoughts?
My initial thoughts, it's bulky. From this angle, it looks like it would do the job. Okay, so I mean, I'm sure it pushes snow. Some people like the color, some people won't like the color.
Looks like a school bus.
It looks like a school bus. I guess that's a good tire size, weight distribution. It certainly wants to be. It wants to dig down, it wants to move your snow. So weight distribution looks good. The old time knobs are easy. Look, it's probably going to push snow. There's no question. I have some questions on size of housing, size of augers, and
so do I.
The impeller enclosure and stuff like that. I got those questions on what it does. Engine wise, no doubt, it's big enough. It's 420 cc's.
Yes.
It's enough. The tank is big. It's huge. You could probably do a couple driveways and plus.
That gas tank is ginormous.
It looks that way. It just looks. It's monster.
When I drained it, I filled one of those big blue pans behind you. Tons of gas inside that thing. Almost laughable.
Heated handlebars. That's good. Do like the instructions there. Okay, this is
it's pretty
pump
clear
over
cut.
here, turn over here, throttle over there. Yep. All that's very nice. And
it starts right up.
That's good. I'm glad it does. An electric start as well.
I think the engine on this is a huge win.
It gives it a shot at being a competitive snowblower versus any other brand.
I've had some subscribers mention that these engines are not the most reliable long term. As I'm seeing it right now,
7, 8 years old, and it starts right up.
I clean the carburetor and it runs great. So from my standpoint, it's doing just fine.
I think if I walk around this thing, and again, I've had Noma, which I loved. I wish I never got rid of that one. The Brute, which I bought used.
And that did great.
That did great. It did what we needed it to do.
Yeah.
Then I went to a Troy built, thought I was doing the right thing. The Troy built plastic sheet.
That one got weak over time.
First, it worked for 2 years, and then every year I was having to replace something. Soup to nuts. There's too much plastic running components. This being one of them. I remember with the plastic chute, and this one also. This can, the snow can come.
Yeah, it kind of goes backwards.
Depending on what angle the chute is at, and it piles up in here, and it causes some. I have to always make sure this is clear, especially when I'm done.
Or else you couldn't turn your chute.
Then I have that problem.
What do you got up here?
The positives are, and I think you told me that those skids actually come part of what comes in the original purchase.
Yes.
Right? Okay, so that's good.
Yeah, they're non-scuffing, which is
They're not
nice.
scuffing. They're ahead of the. I like it. They're literally ahead.
They're leading the bucket.
They're leading the bucket, which is good. The chute's tall enough to kick it out well enough. For the size of 30 inches, it's actually compact from a length. I would agree. I think your 32-inch Ariens is a bit
longer.
longer than this one.
Yep.
So if you have a small spot, maybe in your garage, maybe that part will be good. Controls seem to be fitting. I like the heated grips. I'm sure it does a good enough job to get in most homes or a longer driveway if you have a lot of snow and you need to push.
Yeah.
So overall, I think that's pretty good.
Okay, so Garagegezer, what grinds your gears with this thing?
Honestly,
I'm ready to bully this thing pretty hard.
Well, I mean, I'm sure, again, I don't want to offend all the people that like the thing and all that kind of stuff.
Sure.
I'm looking at it from a
user standpoint,
rational standpoint, fixability standpoint.
What are you going to have to deal with down the road?
Yeah, exactly. You have fairly small augers.
They're 12 inches.
12-inch augers. Your 32-inch Ariens has 16-inch augers.
Yeah, and this is a 30-inch bucket.
30-inch bucket. It's a huge bucket. I look at this design, and I'm sure the engineers tested, but But I look at this and I go, these things, I have, what are we counting here? 6 pins? Shear pins?
6 shear pins.
You have a lot of shear pins. Anything can happen. Okay, you got a lot of augers. Anything can happen.
Oh yeah.
So either way, you look at it. I look at it and go, okay, I'm pushing snow through here. This is supposed to
pull it in,
push it in, whatever you want to call it, and then spin it around.
Feed the impeller.
Stick it out. Augers this big, housing this big. I got a 12-inch impeller.
On a 30-inch.
On a 30-inch
bucket.
It just doesn't make common sense.
It's too small.
I think it's too small. It might throw.
It does. It throws okay.
I'm sure it does. And I'm sure if you put an impeller kit on it, it would be even better. I look at it as it's a relatively small housing for a beastly looking front footprint.
Right.
And to me, are you really going to get everything you got to get out of it? And the cost is pretty heavy.
Yeah.
At $2,300, that's a lot of money.
Yeah.
If I take one step back again, I'm going to go to this area, and if I go back into the mechanism that actually moves this up and down, it's a piece of plastic attached to a piece of metal. That's actually, you're moving metal with a piece of plastic.
I like the metal chute, but I hate the plastic attachments.
This part's fine. The actual gear and setting this thing up, I've had to fix it.
Twice.
Yeah. On my Troy belt. Exact same mechanism. This is going back years.
Right.
Because I haven't had the Troy belt in a number of years. If I take one step back further, again, you're in this auger thing, it's fairly small. If I take one step further and I get into the area where the belts are, I got one drive belt.
There's one belt on this driving the augers. One.
And you're talking about
a lot more metal.
Sophisticated, it's clearly the engineers tried to come up with a different design, and we're not going to fault them for that. But
does this scream gimmick to you? It does to me.
It's flashy stuff. Give me. It's big, but what is the purpose of having this whole size, this big? You're pushing it this way. If snow is going to go on top of this, it's going to try to push it this way. Well, you're jamming snow in this way.
Yeah. There's a block. It's a block in the way.
It's just too much. If you had a race down the driveway between more conventional,
a 2-stage versus a 3-stage.
Exactly. I think the 2-stage beats out the 3-stage. I can't tell. I've never used it.
That's one thing I definitely want to do.
I'm just looking at it from the way I think it's going to be.
Yeah, that's definitely one thing I want to test. Can this thing throw better than or equal to a 2-stage? I want to put them side by side, go right down the driveway,
zip them down,
and see which one shoots better. There are countless videos and even more countless subscribers to this channel mentioning that this just becomes a clogging nightmare.
You mentioned clogging nightmare. Everybody's got to have this brush, right? This handy brush.
Yep.
So you're cleaning in this, cleaning in here, you're cleaning in here, cleaning in here, you're cleaning over here, you're cleaning over here, cleaning over here. You got a driveway to do. So, that to me is, again, I don't want to work that hard.
Right.
And I think this one would force me to work a little bit harder than I would like to.
I would agree. What I don't like about this thing is we have 12-inch augers, and then we have all this empty space, like you were saying. So
where's the snow going?
Right, and let's say you hit a huge mound of snow that's equal to the height of this bucket.
And an approach on a driveway.
The only thing that's doing work here is the bottom foot. The top foot is doing absolutely nothing. Whereas you look at...
It's overloading. This might help because you have 12-inch augers.
Right.
So you need this to
help
that.
those.
But you don't need the big size.
Because nothing's going to work there.
There's nothing.
There's nothing
This
here.
is empty space.
Yeah.
It's empty space.
You can play football in here. You can do all kinds of things. Another issue is these are the same size augers that they put on their 24-inch Craftsmans, that they put on their 28-inch MTDs, that they put on their Troy belts. They're all the same. They're all the same size. So 12-inch, 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 12-inch. You can still go bigger and bigger and bigger with a bucket, but you're still going to get 12-inch augers. Here's another thing I've actually learned too is the welds here at the bottom that where these 3X forward-facing augers attach, these break.
Well, I can see that because you hit a good,
We're in Buffalo, bunker of snow,
and you're at the approach of your driveway. You're pushing it. You're pushing it.
Yeah, you're pushing it this way.
The machine is pushing it. Okay,
yeah.
We're not pushing it. The machine's pushing it, but you're driving snow right into it all the time. These probably don't break.
Yeah, there's videos on YouTube of guys showing that. It's just spinning around because the weld broke.
Are you trying to have something that's going to fail or potentially going to fail? I don't know.
I think
is that the design?
I think it's a gimmick.
I want something to last. I don't want to go out there in my 60s fixing something. If I bought
spend a lot of money on.
And I spent a lot. This is $2,300.
Yeah.
So I don't want to fix it.
Right.
I don't care 2 years from now. I don't want to fix it. I don't want to fix it in 5 years. I change the oil. You know, drain the gas, move on.
Right.
That's all I want to do to the thing.
Right.
I think you're inviting problem. That's my opinion. I would not buy this.
So one other thing that I have been speaking with many subscribers about is that they say the gearbox really doesn't have any ability to maintenance it. And I could not find anything online on how to maintenance that gearbox anywhere. So what I want to do is I want to get a peek at it. It's 4 bolts, the cover comes right off, and we can get a look inside, see what kind of fluid they're working with. But to replace this gearbox assembly, it's anywhere from $300 to almost $650, depending on the size. That's wild, because I bought this snowblower for $480.
Or it's wild if you just spent $2,300 and another $300 to $600. Again, you're asking it to do a lot of work. You're spinning this way. You're spinning this way.
Right.
You're asking it to do a lot. And again, keep it simple. There's just too much to go wrong.
Between all the 6 shear pins, the gearbox, the welds breaking, clogging.
Personally, I think undersized augers.
And another thing to think about too is the width of this bucket is only maybe an inch bigger on each side.
This way.
It's only about 14 inches wide because these augers are 12. So you call an inch on that side, call it an inch on this side. If they made that a little deeper, let's say 16 inches, and then they could squeeze in 14-inch augers. Now we're talking.
I think you're in a different place. I mean, maybe the 3-stage works for folks and they understand it a little bit better than I do, but
a lot of people say this throws powdery snow really well.
A single stage throws that.
That's true. That's true. But wet snow is a nightmare for this, from what I'm hearing across the board. Everybody commenting on this that owns this, they say wet snow, clog, all the time.
Glitzy, salesy kind of thing.
It's different.
Stage.
It's different.
Why not have 9-stage?
Yeah.
Let's have 9-stage. Maybe that'll be better.
They say different is better than better. And that's what sells things. You know, because it's different. You look at this, it's got the 3X. It's just different. It stands out. People look at this, they see every other snowblower with forward-facing augers like this. This one is facing the other direction. They're like, whoa.
I don't like plastic. I see some
I don't like plastic either. Right there, right at the bottom of your impeller housing meeting up with your chute. When you think about that, I mean, there's a lot of stuff happening in there. Yep. And you know what? This same plastic shroud or housing, whatever you want to call it, this is the exact same piece that you see on Craftsman snowblowers. You know, the cheap one that I just sold not too long ago had the same exact part right there. Yeah. So you have this big, beautiful snowblower with all this stuff going on, but they're still stealing the same parts from the cheaper snowblowers, like the augers, this. It's all there. It's MTD for you.
They went better with this. That's fine. Right below it is plastic.
Yeah. I mean, they're going for the bumblebee look here with all the yellow and the
bumblebee. That's a good description. School bus, bumblebee.
Another thing that grinds your gears.
Light.
The light.
I don't think it's an LED because it's
an
older model. It's an older model.
Yeah.
What I want you to look at is follow my hand.
Yeah. The chute's in.
You're right in the middle of the chute.
The chute's blocking all your light here.
I see no light coming out of this side. You got this unit in the way, this unit in the way. I mean, put it higher, maybe.
The light should be here or up here.
I mean, I'm sure every one of the snowblowers that anybody looks at, you're going to have some deficiency. But when you're shooting to the right hand side, you're totally blocked. If you're shooting to the left hand side,
no snowblower is perfect, but
it's not. But it could have been, even if it was higher, it would be a little bit better. Maybe you overshoot this thing.
Exactly. The newer models, they have a light planted right here, and I'm pretty sure they still have one up here, and that does help.
That's good.
That was a smart play on their part.
You want that.
I mean, they only put that on in recent years. Moving on.
Moving on.
All right, Garagegezer, what's next?
I'm looking at this and I'm seeing an amazing amount of cables.
Oh yeah.
I got one hanging down here, one
two.
over here. That's 3. That's 2. 3, 4. I've got a steel. That's fine.
Yep.
That's 5. That's 6. That's 7. That's 8.
8 cables.
8 cables that are hanging down there. Again, keep it simple.
You're asking for a repair here.
Well, all of this stuff, I will tell you, again, I've repaired it. Stuff happens.
Snaps.
You have mechanisms that are going to not last.
Yep.
And it just, to me, it's inviting more issues. You want to spend some time repairing stuff? I'm sure that's going to be one of them.
Yeah, it might be. Now, with the exception of the 1971, because this is kind of a one of a kind. If you had to buy a snowblower right now, which one are you going with?
Well, everybody sees me standing behind a 32, but that's not my favorite.
It's not your favorite.
The 24 would be my favorite.
The 24?
This one right here.
Okay.
The Deluxe does everything that elderly person would do. It's flexible, it moves. It's the one I would choose.
Dual belt design.
Dual belt.
Nice auger to a
Metal.
color ratio.
The old school stuff, it works. I would buy this.
It's a simple design. Everything
Simple
works.
design. I always look at how I'm going to use it. So
Yeah.
that's, to me, that would fit my needs.
What would be some advice to give to somebody buying a new snowblower?
If I was buying a new snowblower today,
Mm-hmm.
and again, I got years of experience just because of years of
using
on
it.
this planet.
Yeah.
So what I would do is I would go, how's it fitting in my garage? And that's number one. I gotta have easy access out of my garage. How's it fit? Next, I want to know, okay, where do I place my cars in the driveway? How am I gonna get around it? I would look at that and I'd look at sidewalks.
Do you have multiple paths?
Do you have multiple paths?
A patio.
Do I have a patio that I go around to the backyard and I do some of the backyard patio? So I want to be able to get in and out of all that stuff. Imagine how you're using it. Take you through the motions. Yep, that one will fit.
That's a big thing.
That would be my choice again, going back to that.
Imagine yourself behind one of these snowblowers and picture how you would actually functionally use it. The practicality of it's really important. How efficient can you be with that machine so you can clean up your yard fast and at the same time not beat your body up?
And even over time, I don't want repairs.
Right.
I want to be able to clean it off, spray it down with WD-40, you know,
Or
all
do your
this
thing.
stuff,
Yep.
do my thing, get back in the house warm up.
That's it.
I want to
Right.
get in and out and be done.
And if you're looking to make your snowblower last a lifetime, consider checking out my snowblower rust proofing course. I'll have it linked down below in the description. It shows you how to fully rust proof your snowblower, stem to stern, so that way you can protect your investment for many years to come. All right, Garagegezer, lightning round. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
Favorite superhero?
Iron Man.
Pancakes or waffles?
Waffles.
Waffles?
Waffles.
I think you get more with a pancake.
Waffles.
Waffles. They have syrup traps, that's why.
Airy.
Airy, okay. Chicken wings. Drums or flats?
Drums.
You get more meat on the bone.
Absolutely.
Favorite Paula's donut?
Sprinkles. Donut with sprinkles.
That's mine too. It's basic.
There you go.
That's it. Would you rather sneeze confetti or burp glitter? That's such a messy one.
I vote neither.
Glitter's horrible because it gets stuck in the carpet and you never get it out.
Neither.
You gotta pick one. You gotta pick one.
Glitter.
Glitter? I think the confetti would be easier to clean up. All right, favorite car of all time?
69 Mustang Grande.
69.
My first car.
Okay. You missed that thing?
Miss it.
Yeah?
Yeah.
If you could get one right now, would you grab it?
Absolutely.
Favorite condiment?
Relish.
Relish?
Yeah.
Yeah, you always
I put it on
relish.
everything.
Yeah. Puts hair on your chest. Yeah.
Puts hair on your chest.
You always used to say that. You want some relish? No. Puts hair on your chest. If your pet could talk, what would they say about you right now?
Greatest guy ever.
Of course they would. All right, Garagegezer. That's a wrap. For more cool garage gear content, click or tap the screen right here. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you in the garage.